now we get to taste a wine that is really terrific. And let me start out from the very beginning and say that this is not a Zinfandel. Yes, amazingly, Ravenswood makes things besides Zinfandel. And they're darn good. And in fact, this wine was Parkerized really early. Back in '86 and '87, Parker found this wine, and he's been giving it pretty good scores. So it's a terrific Cabernet. It was a Cabernet that started out in the same price range as Diamond Creek. Yeah, but being a moral fellow, I've kept the price reasonable, and well, we all know what happened to Diamond Creek. So, terrific wine, but do not mistake it for a Zinfandel. It is not a Zinfandel. We had a magazine recently that tasted it with their Zinfandel section and gave it their best Zinfandel of the year award. But it's not a Zinfandel. Let me repeat, it is not a Zinfandel. It is actually a typically Meritage blend. This particular year was cool enough so that the blend was not all three of the grapes that are grown in the vineyard, which is Cabernet Franc, Merlot, and Cabernet Sauvignon. But according to the back label and according to the winemaker, this wine has 74% Merlot in it. It has 26% Cabernet. So in this particular vintage, it is actually almost legally a Merlot. But it's not a Merlot. It doesn't taste like a Merlot. Of course, Merlot on Sonoma Mountain, where this wine is grown, tastes like Cabernet. What can I say? It's got more structure, it's got more aromatics, it's got more perfume. It is a cool location. It's about 1,200 feet up on Sonoma Mountain. It sits close to Bennett Valley Gap. It's very near Laurel Glen, which is another famous California Cabernet maker. And you get this really cool breeze that comes in the afternoon. These grapes ripen very slowly, and they develop really thick skins, and they make really little clusters because the soils are really shallow. And what that means to you is they make wines that have a terrific amount of flavor. Vineyard's owned by Chris and Lorna Strutz. They are really amazing people. Chris does knees. If you ever need a knee done, he's been doing them for a long time. He's done UC California knees. And Lorna is a terrific artist, and they have their house in the middle of the vineyard. And if you ever want to see someplace idyllic, this is it. This is one of the most beautiful places in Sonoma Valley. So let's see if the quality of the view and the quality of the fruit are proportional, or like restaurants, where the quality of the view and the quality of the food is usually inversely proportional. We'll find out. So let's pour ourselves a glass here of this here pure Pickberry Meritage blend from Ravenswood. Well, you know what? It's got the color of a Bordeaux. It's got that slightly bricky edge, but some deep color associated with it. Yes, isn't that nice? You get this really sort of broad nose. You get some of the deep sort of cassis qualities. You get the rich vanilla that comes from this wine. It's got about 60% new oak in it. So there's enough new oak to make it interesting, but not so much new oak as to sort of overwhelm it. It's very pleasing. California Cabernets now are made in the style that, it's almost like they want to sort of envelop you and smother you, with their kind of overwhelming fruit and their overwhelming oak. You put them in your mouth and you kind of go, "Ooh, that hurt." But this one, doesn't do that. When you bring it to your nose, it doesn't go wham. It doesn't crash you with this kind of like intensity and this kind of, overwhelming vanilla of oak. It gives you this really amazing, spice and fruit and multifaceted linearity. So it just keeps coming at you. And sort of like it comes as like a tape measure. You can always measure the inches into your nose. And it's almost like 2 feet of things you're jamming into your nose. It's really cool. That's really nice. Yeah. I could see sitting in a dark corner with a beautiful woman, rare steak, maybe lamb chops. Little mint, baked potato. Wouldn't want to eat too much, because this wine, well, I'll let you use your imagination. Nice. got that nice quality of Cabernet where, you know, and Merlot in this particular case, where it's got the depth and it's got the roundness associated with it. It's got, you know, the kind of crystalline edge that comes into your mouth, and it almost feels like it's going to be painful. And then it just kind of spreads out and leaves you with this sort of long, lingering, and very pleasant quality. This is a wine that will clearly be better with time. It's pretty delicious now. But from experience, I know that, you know, 10 years on these wines doesn't hurt them in the least, and in fact, they're really terrific at that time. So, Pickberry, you know, it's kind of one of the legendary, you know, Cabernets of California. In this case, it's Merlot, but who's looking really? We're just tasting. But the wine is truly about place as opposed to about variety. And this is a Sonoma Mountain Cabernet, and it tastes like Sonoma Mountain Cabernet. It's got all that wonderful lifted fruit. It's got all that structure. It's got all that sort of pretty dynamic that goes on in this wine. So, you know, if you like Meritage blends, you're going to love this one. So, enjoy it. Thanks.